Meta published the terms, one line in a developer document in August. Almost nobody read it, and it's the whole story. First, a correction, because nearly everything written about Meta's Muse announcement blurs four separate things. Muse is not a product. It's a family, shipped by Meta Superintelligence Labs across 4 months. April, Muse Spark, their first model series. July, Muse Image, generation inside Meta AI, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Then August, twice in 9 days. Muse Code, a coding agent that works. Across whole repositories, and Muse Glimmer, a 30 billion parameter model they released. Open, that runs on the machine in front of you. 2 of those are about your photos. 2 are about your work. They are not the same story, and the difference is the point. Method first, so you can check the findings. 24 sourced claims. 16 traced to a primary document. Meta's own developer blog, their research blog, their newsroom, and the model card itself. 8 to established outlets. 1 is secondary, and it's marked as secondary on screen. We captured Meta's pages on the 14th of August. Pages change. If Meta edits one of these, the version we read is still on our disk, and you can hold us to it. Now, July. In July, Meta shipped a feature inside Muse Image that let you tag a public Instagram account and generate new images using that person's photos. You didn't sign up for it. If your account was public and you were an adult, you were in. And here's the part that matters more than the feature. Read Meta's own settings text. People may be able to create content with your Instagram content using AI features at Meta. And their words. You will not be notified about content created using AI features at Meta. So, enrolled by default and never told when it happened. There was an opt-out. An opt-out only works if you know you were opted in. The objections were not from privacy hobbyists. They were from the people whose faces this is. SAG AFTRA, the Screen Actors Union, said anything short of a clear, conspicuous opt-in was unacceptable and an utter miscalculation of public sentiment. The talent agency CAA called the rollout irresponsible. Public Citizen called it an egregious invasion. The feature launched on the 7th of July. It was gone on the 10th. Meta's own words, on their own newsroom. This feature missed the mark, so it's no longer available. Give them that. 3 days from launch to withdrawal is fast, and the sentence is plain. Not every company writes that sentence. But notice what it cost. Taking it by default cost them the entire feature in 72 hours. 26 days later, they tried something else. August 5th, Muse Code, a coding agent that runs in your terminal and works across a whole repository. And on the pricing page, the same model is offered at 2 prices. Standard, from Meta's own page, $1.25 per million tokens in, $4.25 per million out. Then a second tier. And the way you take it is a setting. You change which model you're pointing at, from Muse Spark 1.2 to Muse Spark 1.2 contributor. That's it. One line of config. The name is the whole mechanism. And Meta puts both prices in one table, side by side. 10 cents in, 20 cents out, against A, $1.25 and $4.25. 12 times cheaper to send, 21 times cheaper to get back. But look at the last row of that table, because Meta wrote the consideration into the price sheet. The row is labeled, used to improve products. Contributor? Yes. Standard? No. There is a way out. 0 data retention. And to get it, you contact sales. Now the sentence everyone is quoting. The coverage says, your prompts and completions train future Meta models. Meta's page says, may be used to improve our products. And Meta had every chance to say train. They built a table row for exactly this and labeled it, used to improve products. The word train is not on that page. That is not me telling you Meta doesn't train on it. They may. It is me telling you that the confident sentence going around is the press's sentence, not Meta's. And on a channel whose entire job is reading the primaries, I'm not going to hand you a quote that isn't there. And read the phrase again, because it cuts the other way too. Improve our products is wider than train our models, not narrower, wider. So why does Meta want it at all? Think about what they already have. Meta owns one of the largest pools of human content ever assembled. Photos, posts, video, 2. Decades of it. If raw volume were the bottleneck, they'd have solved this years ago. What they don't have much of is work with the answer attached. A coding session in a real repository is a strange kind of record. There's a problem. There's an attempt. And then there's a verdict. The tests passed, or they didn't. The build went green, or it went red. Nobody has to label it. It grades itself. Now, this next part is me, not Meta. They have not said this is why. But scraped code tells you what someone wrote. A session tells you what worked. That is the part you cannot get by crawling the internet. Here's where I have to be careful, because it would be easy and dishonest to make everything. Meta did this summer sound like a trap. 5 days after Muse code, Meta released Muse Glimmer. 30 billion parameters running on one consumer graphics card on your desk with no connection and no fee. And they released it under Apache 2.0. If you haven't followed this, that sentence is bigger than it sounds. Every previous Meta open release shipped under the Llama license with its own restrictions and its own user count cliff. Apache 2.0 doesn't have those. No revenue trigger, no ceiling. We didn't take a write-up's word for it. We opened the model card and read the license field. That's a real concession, and it deserves to be said flatly. And on that same model card, in the place where a model lists its ingredients, is this. Training used multimodal content sourced from publicly available data combined with third-party data, and Meta's own products and services. Meta's own products and services. That's Facebook. That's Instagram. The weights are open. You can download them, run them, ship them commercially. What is not open, and never will be, is the data that made them. Meta released the weights, not the training set, and not the training code. So the open model and the content question are not two stories. They're one. Let's separate what's established from what's contested and keep them apart. Established, 1. The July feature existed, enrolled public adult accounts by default, and sent no notification. Meta's own settings text says so. Established, 2. It was withdrawn 3 days after launch, and Meta said it missed the mark. Established, 3. Muse code has a second, much cheaper tier, and Meta's page attaches the words. May be used to improve our products to it. Established, 4. Muse Glimmer is Apache 2.0, and its model card lists Meta's own products and services among its training sources. Contested. What actually happens to contributor data? The coverage says training. The page says improve. Those are not the same sentence, and we could not find the document that settles it. And then my read. And it is a read, not a finding. In July, Meta took something by default and lost the feature in 3 days. In August, they put a price on something more valuable and nobody objected at all. They stopped taking it. They started buying it. 6 things we could not settle. An investigation with no gaps is hiding them. 1. Whether contributor data trains models or is used some other way. 2. What improve our products actually covers and for how long. 3. Whether client or proprietary code is excluded. Undisclosed. 4. Which countries the tier covers. Meta says select countries and doesn't list them. 5. Retention windows, processing region, audit logs, a data processing agreement. 6. Whether anything absorbed into model weights can ever meaningfully be deleted. That one is. Argued, not settled. If any of these gets answered, we'll say so on camera. So, Monday. This isn't a question about trusting Meta. It's a flag, and you control it. On your own side projects, your experiments, your throwaway repositories. The contributor tier is probably an easy yes. An order of magnitude off your bill to hand over code you'd have published. Anyway, is a good trade, and you should take good trades. On client code, on anything under an NDA, on anything that isn't yours, you'd be trading something that isn't yours to trade. Nobody's asking your client. And if you need the cheap rate without the exchange, zero data retention exists. You have to ask for it. 1 flag. Know which side of it you're on before the bill arrives. They stopped taking it. They started buying it. Now you know the price. Every claim in this episode is sourced, and the sources are in the description. If we got something wrong, tell us, and we'll say so on camera. Check one setting this week. Just one. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to AI Tech Book.